Hi, this is Cindy from Part-Time Permies, and he's eating. Mike is snacking. I hope you can hear us.
The snacks are on the desk.
The snacks were on the desk. However, that was too funny. I'm counting down the live startup. And it's like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and he's shoving food in his mouth. Okay, and there's just a bit of delay going tonight, so hello, Seven Sprouts Homestead. We actually had a couple more people in the room a moment ago, but hopefully they come on back in as we're starting things going. But hope you had a good week last week. And there's Terry. Hello, hello. We have a cat meowing at us. At least we don't have a dog barking at us. Somebody's hiding behind me. And oh, good. You can hear us and see us. That's good, good, good. So, yeah, it does look like there's a little bit of a delay on everything. So, if we don't respond to your comments right away, then that's why, because those comments there's at least I don't know, 10, 15-second delay,
Yeah,
it looks like.
depends. I have to see when we have something changed, then sometimes I
Can tell.
roughly check.
Yeah, I just noticed it took a while for it to switch over to us.
Yeah.
So, as we're starting
Oh,
up.
Mao.
And Helix, did you want to lap? Helix might come join us
You
today.
want to help Mao?
Hi, Lois Ann. And now that you have food out of your mouth, do you want to say hi?
Hello.
That was way too funny. Anyway, we've had a pretty busy week. I did get one video done just barely. And there's Kiri. Hello, Kiri. Did get one video done, so I hope you caught that yesterday. I didn't have a whole lot of time this week because we had visitors. And there's Finite World. Hello, hello. So cool. So the video for this week was called The Big Fencing Mistake. Just happened to, by chance, that we landed on an electric wire.
And that was Sunday.
A week ago.
Sunday afternoon, a week ago.
Yeah. I don't know if we talked about it in our
We
show
did,
last week.
Briefly.
Yeah. So we did get a video in there, and we also have a new addition to the homestead in that video. So if you haven't checked it out, you're gonna have to check that out. But we will be talking about the new addition today. So yeah, thank you, Finite World.
Couldn't have been too big a mistake. The fence is still there, and I'm still here. So.
Yeah, but that could have been a really bad mistake. Electrical shocks are not necessarily a good thing.
No.
Especially, what was it? A 240.
It was a 240. It was a 4 cable.
Yeah.
Once we got down and dug it up, we had scraped the edge of one, just knocked the casing off of one wire. Yeah. Barely edged up against it, and yeah, but it is it runs, I think it's split out to 3 circuits, so 2 standard circuits and a 240 option. So yeah, it's carrying a decent amount of power. It goes to our 20 by 20 barn shed. So
your mom's home.
We were just saying that you probably arrived within the last hour. So
yeah,
they were here this morning. Well, no, they were south of
here.
We saw them this morning dropping my sister off.
Yes. So yeah, they were here half the week, and then your sister came up with them with 2 dogs. Mm-hmm. We dropped her off. She stayed until this morning, mm-hmm. and dropped her off in South Bend with 1 dog to go home with your parents. And I will show you what we have here now. We have a new dog here. This is our new Great Dane. Her name is Puddin', Southern style, I guess. Puddin'. She's actually laying down very quietly behind us right now, so maybe I'll see if she'll come up and squeeze into this camera, but this camera's kind of tight and she's very shy, so I'm not sure if she'll make an appearance other than through this picture today. But she is in our newest video as well. She did go on a walk with me. Seven Sprouts, he did see the video? Didn't see the video. Busy with renovations.
Don't hit any electrical wires.
Yeah, don't. We knew that wire was out there.
We knew it was somewhere in the vague vicinity, not knowing exactly, and just
And we
making
pretty
a
much
general.
figured that the fence would be crossing the wire
Well, at
probably.
some point it would, yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much had to. And we got all, we got the entire stairwell put in with the
Yeah.
contractor and had mistig and all that. We got all of that done
No wire there.
without wires. Now we did find out the wire's only like 28, 29 inches down, so it's not nearly as deep as it should be, and it's not in a protective casing
Right.
or anything. It's just a watertight underground buried line.
And we only had 2 posts that would have gone deep enough to even hit the thing.
There were only the 2 fence edge posts because the T-posts don't go deep enough.
Yeah.
And the fence posts were 8-footers, so they only go about 3 feet down.
Yeah.
So we were barely at the very bottom of it when we
Barely
tagged it. The concrete didn't even go down that far.
Yeah. So that was interesting. You should check it out because we do show our new fence, which is a 6-foot tall fence because our old Dane used to like to put his paws up on the fence, and we had a 5-foot tall fence in New York. But when he put his paws up on the fence, he would look over the fence in New York. So this time we made a 6-foot fence just in case he got excited about our chickens. I'm not sure if Puddin will actually even put her paws up on the fence. She has not been interested in the chickens.
Not yet.
So, which, by the way, you don't know this, but I just scooped a little baby out of the dog yard tonight.
Oh, yeah?
I had to get past Puddin because she's running away from me at times. When I try to walk by her, she runs away from me at the moment. I was trying to scoot past her without having her run out the door because there was a baby chick in her yard. And I didn't really want to risk that, but she let me pass. And I got the door closed and got the chick out of her yard and all safe. But it's one of the smallest ones. I think most of them are too big to fit those left.
We put in
gaps.
a new post, a new large wooden fence post under the cattle gate where there was a little bit of gap. We have rolled fence over that, but I think we plugged up most of it.
I think it probably got in over at the small gate on the side of it because I also put one of those fence posts over there underneath to fit the bottom gap under the gate.
Yeah, so we have 3 gates into the yard now. 2 are 6-foot wide walking tractor gates, and then we have a 10-foot cattle fence we put in last week so that we can get a vehicle in to load and unload things, which we actually need to do this week because we brought in a bunch more drywall for closing off a storage area. Our last project on my kitchen. So
lots of projects going on, but and your dad got featured in that video this week.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he explained a little bit of what the fix of the wire was.
We dug quite deep. It's quite a hole when you got to work, approaching 3 feet down.
And you have
to find a wire, get underneath it, and actually be able to work in it. So we were we dug out a big hole, which I need to put the dirt back in. That's easy.
Yeah.
But to sit in there and scoop out around it is not very easy.
No, that hole is almost 3 feet wide at this point, but.
Yeah, we had to put our butt in the back of it and then be able to have enough room for our shoulders and hands to
reach down,
get down there dig next to the fence post and stuff. So.
Yep. So other things we have this week, we have our first tomatoes. That's with some of our first cucumbers.
Not we're gonna have 2 weeks behind some of the other traditional. Hoops have been out, but just a little behind.
Yeah. So tomatoes and cucumbers. And we had some other good harvests this week. We have still lots of zucchini and yellow squash coming in, and those are all hot peppers, a variety.
Rained 3 times this week, so we're not so dry anymore, which is good.
It's good.
Cut the lawn for the first time in well over a month.
Yep.
It's actually growing, so I might have to touch it up again.
Yep. And we have our first harvest of ground cherries in there. We have some okra in there, hot peppers, I think 1 eggplant, and a bunch of summer squash. So lots of things coming in now. I can't get out in the garden fast enough to pull everything in, especially those squash. They're going nuts. But I think the zucchinis are finishing.
If we get too many squash, at some point we start getting them to the chickens. Even through the winter, we just take the hard shell ones. As we get too many, or they start drying out or getting a little mold on them, we just toss them back to the kitchen, to the chickens.
Yeah.
Not in the kitchen when they go bad to the chickens.
7 Sprouts, pretty colors on the harvest or pretty colors on the dog? Probably the harvest because that was the last picture up. And we also went, oh, hi, Noah's Ark. Um, also went to the Kalamazoo County Fair for the first time. We don't live in Kalamazoo County, we live in Van Buren County, and we've been to that fair a number of times except this year. So we went to the Kalamazoo County Fair, and I only took a picture of a cute baby goat. I think it's actually, if I don't know my goats very well because I have never had goats, but I think it's a Nigerian dwarf. And this one was one of triplets with a mama in there, and this one was begging for attention, so it was very cute. But we got to go see all the animals at the Kalamazoo County Fair. Not as many animals as our fair, but they have a bigger city area in Kalamazoo County, so
Yeah. I was just checking. I think we are running like almost 45-second delay, by the
yeah.
way.
Okay.
It's super delayed. I just realized
Yeah.
it just switched screens.
Yeah. Oh, well, that just means we get your comments almost a minute after you've typed them, so sorry for reading those late. And Seven Sprouts, these have bugs and weeds taking over your garden.
Yeah, we got bugs. Not too many bugs. We got lots
And
of
the goat's
weeds.
gotten into it too. We have lots of weeds, but we use them, so I don't care. I mulch with them, and actually, our most intensive planting areas has hardly any, which I like doing that bio-intensive for that reason. Um, Terry's listening and looking for properties for sale. Where are you moving to, Terry? Um, I'm trying to see if I missed any others there, but yeah, the projects never end. You're right, Seven Sprouts. Um,
There were
okay.
some very, very small goats there.
Yeah, they were Nigerian dwarfs, I
Yeah.
believe,
Yeah.
and
So.
they had some others as well. Some I want to say some Nubians and things, but again, I don't know my goats very well. I just recognize them
Yeah.
from roses.
Yeah, and this was we'd never been to the fair, but it was running, and we thought we'd just stop by.
Yeah.
They don't really have a. They have some rides, but they have a
There's more
midway,
rides
and
than
they don't.
animals.
Yeah, they have some animals. They don't really have major events or activities at night.
No.
It's a 4-H, children and kids fair, but Kalamazoo County is primarily city of Kalamazoo,
And Portage, which
and
is city,
yeah, and then Richland and everything else. So there
and
is much
Comstock.
more semi-urban to small, medium-sized towns. So there is a lot less agriculture. Our county's pretty heavy agriculture, and the surrounding counties are very
Very.
heavy agriculture. So we were not surprised that it was a little low key, but it was fun. We
Yeah.
had missed our county fair 2 weeks ago. We were too
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah.
So
So Carrie, yeah, that's why I think the other goats that we saw there were Nubians. You know what drove me nuts at the county fair, and it's at ours too. They have, the cards with the kid's name on it and the club they belong to and all that. It's supposed to have the breed on there, but half of them don't list the breeds, and it drives me nuts because when I'm looking at chickens and stuff, I kind of want to know what breeds they are, just for my own learning experience. But
and we didn't grow up on farms, and we're
no,
not running a farm, so we only have a certain say in things. But yeah, my understanding is 4-H is obviously for kids to learn work skills and basic farm skills,
yeah,
but also, and then it's like any animal show, it's about quality and poundage
but
and confirmation of the animals or such. But I do notice that there is very little, even at our local fair, of
no.
putting in breeds or putting in details, which to me is a big part of explaining it. So like we saw a lot of the pigs that said breed and it said swine.
Oh yeah,
Or it said a lot of times it said cross, which is fine, or and sometimes they're crossed so
look,
much that there's no way to.
look who's saying hi. You
Hello.
gonna say hi? Yeah.
So yeah, it seems like to me part of the idea is to make people familiar with what they're seeing. So it's really important. The other thing that kind of bugged me, poultry, and you see a lot of varieties and rabbits and the kids doing that. And then the cattle, you've got the meat and the milkers, and of course they're very expensive and long-term projects. So you're doing what you're doing. But the hogs always surprise me.
Yeah.
They are almost all pink IBP commodity cross.
Hardly any heritage
Yeah,
breeds.
and we saw
There were some a couple there,
we
but
saw some Duroc,
yeah.
and we saw a
I forget what.
North something else. But I know with the extreme popularity of heritage hogs right now, when you've got like our local fair probably has a few hundred hogs,
Did you notice?
and there's almost not, and there's really like one or two that are special. or old breeds, to me it seems like that should be a hotbed of excitement of people
Yeah.
bringing some of that back in, especially the kids. So I think there's a little bit. This is a big commercial agricultural area, so I understand that a lot of it's coming off of commercial stock. But
I have a few treats for somebody in case she showed up. And guess who showed up? So this, by the way, oops, I'm dropping treats now.
it's hiding, kind of
She's kind of hiding, but she's peeking out in between us
right
to
between.
get treats. That's Puddin'. She's been so shy today. She did not want to go for a walk when we got home. She kept barking at us. Um, and I actually sat outside with her for about an hour just trying to get her to take treats from me because she wouldn't let me pet her. She was a little upset that her mama didn't come home with us, I think. But she's getting there. She's just very skittish. So we're gonna have to work on. I only have one left. We're gonna have to work on just, getting her comfortable with us. You gonna let me pet you?
She's been looking around a bunch since we got home because she took lead from the other dogs, and one of the dogs that was here, of course, went back. So she's been looking for that dog, and she's been looking for my sister, and so she's kind of unsettled and a little whiny, not too whiny,
Yeah.
but she is expecting people to come back, looking for her dogs.
She does seem to keep looking around for people.
But we figure she's going to get bored and lonely enough that it won't take too long that
And
she's becomes more okay coming to visit.
Yeah. So she's very friendly. She's just like very skittish. She wouldn't let me put her collar on her today to go take her for a walk. She actually completely avoided even when I tried to do the treat through the collar. It didn't work. She was like, I don't think I'm gonna. She didn't want to be trapped. She really didn't. She knew what I was doing.
We thought we'd take her on a walk and she'd enjoy the walk, but that was have to wait. Maybe tomorrow.
We'll have to work her up to that. But anyway, so we have a project here to gain the trust of a puppy and maybe do a little training with her. She's got basic training, but as far as like, tricks and things, she doesn't have many of the sits. And although she stayed for me when I told her to stay, so I don't know if that was taught to her or if that was just happened by chance. That was when I went out to save the chick in the yard.
Oh, meteor showers last night.
Oh, cool.
Usually up north around this time you can get northern lights when you're 4 or 5 hours north of us and it's darker. You can get. When I was living up there
up in Mackinac.
I saw pretty nice white northern lights a number of nights, but sometimes you get the really crazy colored ones. I never saw the colored that year. So yeah.
Yeah, we get a little bit of the city light, so it's a little harder to see a lot of the night sky stuff. Because we're not that far from Kalamazoo. But
hello.
She's seeing if you have treats now. We're all out of treats. I'm sorry, Puddin'.
There's little crunchy crackers over here. Some nibbles. That's about it.
Yeah, no. I figure she just get a handful of them. Anyway, so those are the new things basically, and I didn't get a whole lot done this week, although I do have 2 more videos recorded, so we'll get 1 or 2 out this week as well.
I got an alert today to put the sugar syrup in strain out the nocino, the walnut quarters and pieces out of the now steeped or infused.
There's a job for Finite World. Go find that video for me, please.
Yeah, and so we need to put in the
making nocino.
Yeah, the making nocino with the black walnuts, the immature black walnuts from about a month-ish ago. Yeah. So I need to, and some people do it for 2 weeks, some do it for a month to 6 weeks. I think we're probably 5-ish weeks.
Yeah, it was in June.
I think we're over a month. So I need to
6 weeks.
I need to strain that out, and then I need to put in some simple syrup, and I got to look up how much was recommended. Different recipes are sweeter, and then it needs to sit at least till around Christmas, if not for the year.
So we're about to do the second step, although that is so short of a step that I don't know if we'll show.
Yeah, I just need to boil up some double syrup, measure out whatever amount it's supposed to be.
Maybe I'll do a quick one.
Pour it in. I might get that done tonight.
Yeah. So maybe we'll get some real quick on that.
I got a busy week. I got 3 major markets this week. I kind of go off week and then busy week, and I'm in a real busy week. And got other stuff going on. So
7 stars. That's really cool that you got to see those shooting stars. We might be able to if we go out. I still have to close up the chicken, so
Yeah,
I'll check it out.
we've had tremendous amount of fog. It's been hot and humid, but cool in the morning, so it's been very foggy for most of the week. And so, but I think things are clearing a little bit. Lois Ann was at the Ludington Fair.
Cool. And so nothing done in the garden. Yeah, when you're at the fair all week, it definitely consumes everything. When you have kids showing or whatnot, our friend was at the Van Buren Fair all week a couple weeks ago,
And
and
it was so hot and dry the last 2 years, and then this year was pretty hot. It was not extreme, but
it
it was
was muddy.
and
It was
dry. And then like the last day and a half, 2 days,
it rained.
it poured, and they were jamming trailers out of the mud fast, trying to not get them caught coming out
Yeah.
of their
They were doing
camping and getting
mudslides. The kids were doing
they're
mudslides.
getting the tractors out to pull stuff out because the
Yeah.
last day and a half, it doesn't take long to make it all go downhill.
Yeah.
So it looks like they had a good time and it took the heat down. But loadout on Saturday night, Sunday morning really is all those trailers coming in and loading up everything is.
Yeah.
Of course, almost everybody's got a camper. Yeah.
Yep, you found it finite. Thank you. That's the video for the first step of making nocino, which is the green walnut liqueur. So you can check that out if you want to, and we'll probably try to get the second step to it up here soon. We'll do that, record it tonight. So maybe I'll get 3 videos in this week. It depends on time I have for editing.
That's gonna be like a 2-minute video.
Yeah, it will, but
Boil
yeah.
up simple syrup, which is usually like a 2 to 1, or up to almost like a 2.5 to 1.
So you
And
get the
then we just
instructions
have to
ahead of time.
and then we just have to measure it. And I gotta go back and check whatever references. I think I wrote down. I try and write down when I'm doing new recipes or things,
Yeah.
and store them in a file on my computer. But I gotta go see
what you did,
where I put that information if I have it.
Yep. So that maybe we will get that recorded and up. So that'll be a very short video, but you got the instructions basically right now. So the other thing is this week's Foraged Food. It is oyster mushroom season. Actually, oyster mushrooms can grow and show up anytime from spring to late fall. So after wet weather, mainly on hardwoods, either living or dead hardwoods. So you can sometimes find these popping up on living, dying, or dead, like oaks and stuff.
Sometimes even found in the snow if they're in the sun and the tree is warmer, and that they've been found when like in
late
melting
fall.
snowpack, late fall and early spring.
Yeah. So yeah, so they're fun. They are really tasty. They have some good texture to it.
Yeah, but they're on the milder side and on the lighter texture, but they do have both structure and flavor. A little more flavorful than the cultivated ones.
Yeah. And there's a number of variety of them. These are the ones that we find most often around here, but there are a variety of colors. You can buy spores to cultivate, which I still haven't done. I have some. I don't know if they're good anymore. Hopefully they are, although I bought them for you for your birthday.
I know, but I've been busy, and I asked you to please help my birthday grow them.
That takes time to do. So maybe we'll do that next weekend.
I have lots of egg cartons. We were planning to grow them between like commercial egg cartons, the 30 trays.
But we could probably spore some trees.
We could find, if we can find the right trees, we probably could spore
oak trees back here. We have a half dead oak tree. We could probably spore it on there.
Spore.
So we might be able to get some spore, do a video on that, maybe do some in the house and outside and see how it works, and see if we ever get anything off of them. But this is just a small patch of them, but they will come in these overlapping like shelves.
Petals.
Kind of petals, yeah.
You get a very uniform shape on the commercial ones generally. The wild ones tend to take on a number of shapes due to either environment or just the sub-varieties and such.
Bugs eating them sometimes. So these, they always have the stem. They do have a stem. It sometimes can be very short, but it's off to one side. So if it goes up to the middle of the mushroom, it is not an oyster. It always goes to one side. The gills on the other side I don't have a picture of, but they go up the stem. Sometimes they taper off a little bit, but they definitely go up on the stem. No skirt around the stem or anything. So they're fairly easy to identify. There's not much that looks like them.
And when they take off, they usually inundate either the tree or the area of similar trees. that there can be hundreds or thousands, and there can be, pounds, potentially many pounds in highly inoculated areas. So yeah,
Yeah, so we have so these I said, this is a small group of them. We have seen them like cover. Actually, I have an old foraging video from last September, foraging with Nabi, that where we found a whole bunch of them on one tree, and you could see on that video how they just cover that base of that tree. Nabi actually says she's found a whole lot more in that same area on their
she had so
property.
many. She gave me
She gave you a lot.
5 pounds or more, and she from the end of a market when they were just kind of take because the heat they can start sweating and go bad from the coming out.
And the bugs
She's
like
like,
them.
yeah, she was just like, take them. And I
Yeah.
lost some of them to a little bit of mold. We used a bunch, and yeah, she had so many. She's like, just take them. I can't use them all. And she's dried a lot of them because she will sell them dried or do different things
That's
with
true.
them.
Yeah. So yeah, we've been eating them, and you can use them like any mushrooms or meat replacer, or they do have a good amount of texture to them, so they'll hold up in like stews and stuff too. So
yeah, even though they soften, they tend not to break apart. Most mushrooms are there's a few that are delicate, but
yeah,
most have a lot more structure than you realize.
yeah. So do any of you guys go hunting for oyster mushrooms in your area, I guess is the question. And sometimes they come in slightly different colors. These are the white ones. But do you guys like oyster mushrooms? Because I saw the chat stopped. Um, and by the way, you can check out the description for the oyster mushrooms on our webpage, which is linked in the description below. There's a blog on that. But any of you guys going foraging for mushrooms, this one's a pretty easy one to identify. Oh, and it'll take 45 seconds before you hear that.
We might still be up to a 45-second delay. It seems like oysters have a fairly unique smell to them.
Yeah, they do.
Also, so once you get used to that as a wild one, I don't find the cultivated ones have much smell.
Yeah,
I think
they
that
are
can
more
help,
mild.
can be one piece of the identification
Yeah.
if you know the smell very well.
And actually, it was funny because when we went foraging with Nabi, you went that one, I don't think, last year, last September, she just took off because she goes, "Do you smell it? Do you smell it?" And she went running because she was like, "They're in the area. I can smell them."
There's a pretty distinct. It's
but she
a
was
low
like,
level, but kind of a musky. But yeah,
it was like
penetrating.
I don't know, a tenth of a mile away. She knew where they were too, so I don't know if she was smelling them yet or if she was just
probably was, but she knew where they were.
Yeah.
But yeah, because
so you've looked for them but haven't found any yet. I haven't found any on our property yet.
We don't seem to have any growing on ours.
We may have at this point on the neighboring property.
Yeah, but everything we've seen to date has not been an edible.
No.
Or not an identifiable to be edible.
Yeah, we get a lot of fake turkey tails around here and a couple other shelf mushrooms, kind of conch type shelf mushrooms, which I guess the conchs are not really edible, but people use them medicinally a little bit, including the reishi. That's in the same family. So
magic mushrooms, yeah, they show up.
We found not chanterelles. We found I'm blanking in May. The big one in May under apple. Thank you.
Yeah, magic mushrooms we haven't found here, but we don't go away from. In New York, there was definitely, of course, they tend to grow on the animal manure. So I had culinary friends that would try and jump the fence at the county fairgrounds north of where we're going to school and claim that they would go get magic mushrooms. I didn't find any point of it being very interesting, especially that they were going to be pulling them off of animal manure from a week or two ago, and I'm thinking that they may want to eat them.
No, thank you.
So
I like the mushrooms that grow on wood mostly.
Yeah, most of the edible grow on wood. Although chanterelles
grow around wood.
Chanterelles and morels grow generally around wood or in wood decay, but not necessarily on trunks.
Yeah. So, but most of the ones that are fairly easy to identify are the ones that grow on wood, but or chanterelles and morels. But yeah, so that was our foraged food of the week, and I decided on using that one this week because we had a whole lot that we were putting in a lot of different dishes now.
Oh, the other two mushrooms that are up right now. So
yeah,
chicken
Chicken of the
mushrooms
woods,
are popping up quite a bit, and they get they're bright
orange.
orangey. So a lot of times lobster mushrooms come up around the same time, and they're reddish. But I haven't seen anybody with lobster mushrooms in our area in the last year or two. New York, there was a lot of them. And then chanterelles are starting to come up.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, and then it should be soon. We didn't really get any last year, but maitake or
Yeah.
hen of the woods, which are the little brown petals
Yeah.
that grow at the base of old big oak trees, is a good thing to be looking out for. They're pretty abundant and they're pretty identifiable. They do take on slightly different patterns and shapes in wild form than in cultivated.
And one thing, I'm just going to check.
We did have them 2 years ago at the base of one of our trees just outside the house. They were not there last year, but it was so dry.
It was so dry last year.
We're hoping that they usually return year after year.
Yeah.
And if you just don't break it all off.
Or chickens don't eat it.
Yeah, so we're hoping to get a nice one. So I don't know what the deal is.
We have some free ranging chicks sometimes during the day. So, but they came up when I had the whole flock free ranging, and they're big.
At least three clumps of them. At that point, they looked really familiar, but I had done a lot with maitakes, but cultivated, and they take on slightly different conformations and different ages and maturities. So and I was like, I don't know. They really look like it. And then once I started doing more foraging, I'm like, yeah, they are definitely edible. Yep. Maitakes, it's just different patterns.
Yep. So what we did want to do, because we've been talking about mushrooms, is I told you guys that we're here last month at our last giveaway that we would do a once a month giveaway. There's 10 people in the room right now, and this giveaway
is a box of Q-tips.
No.
Because Costco sells such a massive triple pack that you can never use it. So.
Where'd that come from?
Well, this is what everybody needs.
Well, that has nothing to do with the mushrooms we've been talking about. Yeah. So I mentioned that I'm gonna potentially give away things from Amazon where I could send it directly to you. So this week I did put a link in the description down below, but this book, 100 Edible Mushrooms, is a good book, has a lot of good color pictures. It kind of ranks their edibility, like great, good, edible, but not really desirable, or not edible, or avoid at all cost type thing. They focus on the edible ones, but they'll give some common lookalikes if there are any for that type. And they will also focus on, which ones are easy to identify. They even have some recipes and things in here, I believe, as well. Yeah, at the back they have some recipes with for the different types of mushrooms.
You'll have to get your own box of Q-tips to get the bugs and dirt out of the mushrooms then.
Yeah. Okay. They actually suggest rinsing them once in a while, but
when they're very dirty, I suggest rinsing.
Yeah.
Because you can use cold water to drive bugs out of gills, or to let sand drop to the bottom. So if they're minimally dirty and dry, then you want to brush them off with a paper towel or a little mushroom brush or whatever to scrape them off. But when they're dirtier, yeah, you have to wash them. And there was a study done by Cooks Illustrated about 10 years ago, and they realized that if you wash mushrooms, they don't take on any more water than a head of broccoli. And we wash broccoli all the time and don't complain about, we just use a higher heat pan to get it seared and to cook it.
Yeah.
So they said, it's somewhat of a misnomer. If your pan is hot enough and you spread the mushrooms out and you give it some time without moving it around, you can sear. It's pretty much all water.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to wash your mushrooms. Really avoid it. Wash them right before you use them, and then pat them dry on a towel or paper towel.
And if they look clean, don't worry about it.
And if they look clean, or you can just brush a few things off, then don't wash them. But washing mushrooms is an option.
Yeah. So anyway, we will give that away. Now we could do this one of two ways. We could do it as a random thing like we did at the end last time for just the people watching right now, if people kind of chime in, or we could do a little quiz.
Whatever you want. Well, your odds right now are 1 in 10. It looks like
it's looking pretty good.
We got a pretty light cloud. Oh, 1 in 9. Your odds just got significantly better.
why are people dropping off now? There's 8 people watching. So anyway, if you want this mushroom foraging book, maybe that's why they're dropping off. They don't want it. Uh, we'll talk about more things afterwards. It's not the only thing. And Puddin', are you pacing? I think it's Mama's bedtime, and she normally goes to bed right now. So anyway, so what we'll do a quiz. I have let me think.
Wait, what,
Um,
puppy?
oh, okay. I thought of a question. I did think of a question. I was going to do a different question, but I realized I answered it within like 30 seconds of prior to now. So the question for the quiz, and it's going to be the first person who shows up in our live chat. Keeping in mind, I know some computers are faster than others, and you might
Yeah,
see
maybe
it pop up at different
well,
times.
we're back to 9 people, so
Yeah,
yeah, maybe we had some signal issues.
we could have. But the first correct answer in our live chat will be the one who wins. I know that sometimes shows up differently when you're looking from your end because it might register your answer faster directly on your computer than it does as it comes in here. But the most accurate way is to see what comes in here. So first one here will get it, and you can only win. No, you can only win once every, what do we say, 4 months? However, I'm not going to count last time, so we'll start today.
Okay.
Because we've just started doing this monthly thing. So so if you win today, you won't be able to win for another 5 months. So 4 months, no winning, counting, right? And then 5 months later, just because we want to spread out the gifts.
So do you have to be strategic about
what you're winning?
What you really want to win? Is it
Well,
is it like Price is Right, and you have to decide if the first option is not as good as the second option?
I will tell you what though, if we hit 1,500 in the next five months, we'll have a giveaway just for that, and anyone can enter. So, and Noah's Ark puts number 3 because I think they were number 3. She was number 3 last time. No, I was going to be the first one who answers this question. Okay. So the question is, who did we get Puddin' from? And Puddin', a reminder, is the Great Dane puppy who was just pacing behind us.
2-year-old puppy. It sort of matured quickly like a mushroom to 120 pounds and
120-year-old, 120-pound puppy. Who did we get Puddin' from?
All right, so I know we're on delay, so I'm sure there's people that have answered already, but
you gotta wait for it. We're on
wait, so
yeah. So we're gonna wait for it to come through here. But who remembers? We mentioned it earlier. Who we got her from? But anyway, and that'll probably, and I think that came up in our video too.
Nope, Valerie is wrong.
Not quite. Not my father-in-law either. And if you say it in relation to either of us, we'll count it. But that was a little closer. But not my father-in-law. Who's got it? Who did we get Puddin' from? I think I know, but I don't want the book. Well, I'll tell you what. If you want to put in an answer and then donate it to someone else who wants the book, you can pick someone to donate as long as they want it. And there's a delay. I know. So we need some music going here. Drum roll or Jeopardy music, something. Not mom, not cousin.
No.
It
is a family member.
It is a family member.
No.
Nope. It's a family member. So not father-in-law's friend. It's not a friend. Not cousin. Not mom.
One of the people that was here this week, which I guess we talked about near the beginning. Some people may not have logged on yet.
I guess so. But I mean, that's the point of watching the whole show.
Did the video have the answer also?
The video should have had the answer as well. Although I'm not. Actually, I'm not sure because I said they came up, and I listed everyone who's coming.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if I said who actually was bringing.
Nope.
Not
nope.
the aunts, not the uncle, sister, his sister. Yes,
my sister who was here all week. Yes.
Yes, I was going to count sister or sister-in-law. Let's run through relatives. Yeah,
I
Noah's
have
Ark.
culinary quizzes and exams like this for my students sometimes. Like, is it them or is it our teaching skills or is it their learning skills?
Yeah, no, it was
A little different in a classroom setting.
Mike's sister came up
Yeah.
with his parents, but she's the one who brought 2 dogs here, left Puddin here, and went back with 1 dog.
Yes.
So it is.
And we started out with only like 4 people at the
That was
beginning, so
Noah's.
I think some people.
Yeah. That well, no, it built up pretty fast at the beginning, so I think most people
So
were
Noah's
here.
Ark on try number like 3, right?
Yeah. Let me get a
Alright.
pen because I'm gonna start writing down.
So
who
you will
won.
have to email Cindy
At,
your
it's at part-time Permies.
email
at-
your contact information, address.
Wherever you want it sent. Part-time Permies at gmail.com.
Anywhere that Amazon can send it through their U.S. mail or UPS or whatever they do.
So August winter is Noah's Ark. And I know you're in Michigan, so it probably won't take long to get there.
Nope, probably before the end of the week.
So yeah, just send me the information where you want to send it, want me to send it. And it was my listening skills, like kids were screaming.
Well, I know everybody does other things
Yeah.
as well. I mean, we're always time sharing when we're
we're
watching and listening to other things too. So
we're always multitasking, aren't we? But yeah, that was good. That was funny. So yeah, I like the kind of quiz, but I'd have to think of questions and not. I was going to ask what is the dog's name, but I had just said she was walking. I had just said Puddin, so that probably would have been a little easier.
yeah, so she's a little hard. We know she's harder to see at night because she's a dark brindle.
Yeah.
And she's got a pretty dark mask. And so our previous stain was also somewhat because he was
blue.
He was blue. But he was a little shinier. And then our Saint Bernard was multicolored, red and white and brown, and so he was pretty easy to see. Plus, he was kind of thumping, crashing through, usually, or woofing. So yeah. Went dashing out of down the hallway when I wasn't paying attention, kind of scared. Ran down the hallway, ran right past me, and with the light was off, and didn't even notice until she was at my side passing me.
Yeah, no, she does blend in with the shadows a bit.
Reflective collar.
Yeah.
Which is what we had to do with Jello with his blue merle, shiny gray.
He was blue. He only had
blue
one
merle on his papers.
Oh, really? He had one white spot on his, just teeny tiny on his chest.
Like a couple of hairs.
Yeah, the tiniest thing. But anyway, so I think. Oh no, she came back in. She went out and came back in. The door to the outside's still open. But yeah, thank you, Noah's Ark. I think she's pretty too. She's a unique color. I've always liked brindle dogs, actually.
We had a brindle bulldog.
Your family did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, so that is the newest thing. I'll probably do some training videos. Actually, that's one thing I did earlier today and recorded was just trying to get her to get used to me and what I do there. We do a lot of positive training techniques, so we'll probably build on that and see where it goes.
We had a fairly shy Dane before. Our Danes are shy.
They're Scooby-Doos. They are absolute Scooby-Doos.
We had 2 dogs previously that both had fear issues, one aggressive and one passive. So we have some fairly good experience with handling large dogs and also handling some relatively challenging dogs. So hopefully that will make working with this dog quite a bit easier.
Delivers the summer. Hello. You missed our giveaway. Thank you. Yes. So you saw our puppy. I call all dogs puppies if you haven't noticed, by the way. I know she's 2 years old. She's an adult. She already had her stomach tacked, so our problem with our last Dane, his stomach twisted and it ended up with
and she's
bloat.
old enough that her neck should be okay.
Hopefully. Actually, Jello started at 3.
Yeah, the wobblers
at 3 for him, but that can start as early as 2. So hopefully
we're also a lot more familiar with what
to watch
what those symptoms are, because he started getting leg drops and limps and whining and shaking his neck and things that we would probably catch a lot
and
faster.
yelping. He would yelp
Oh yeah,
randomly.
you would look like you didn't even touch him, and he would yelp like you pinched him or you got shocked.
Yeah.
And we didn't know why he was doing it.
Yeah. So
And he
our
was
previous Dane, it was Wobbler syndrome. Is actually, it has a official name that I forget, but it's actually a growth on the spine that pinches the nerves in the spine. So it's kind of like a spinal stenosis for people. So it causes shooting pains and numbness. And he fell down the stairs once. It was just
he would look at us and he would yelp and run away like we hurt him, and we're like we didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And it was really weird.
Took us a while to figure out. But yeah, her coloring reminds you of the stray that showed up there last summer. Stray dog, I'm assuming. Yeah, usually used for hunting and abandoned. Well, the Great Danes are hunting dogs. The British actually call them boarhounds. So if you read the British version of Harry Potter, the Fang is a boarhound. And boarhound, he was a big gray boarhound, so he was pretty much like our last Great Dane, and scared of everything, which is what Great Danes are scared of everything, it seems, of everything new. But they were bred to be boar and bear hounds, so they are hunting dogs.
Big game, and I'm sure they could use them for elk or other
and I heard
other things, reindeer or something.
I've heard some areas of the U.S. where they're having problems with wild boar. We're actually starting to use Great Danes to hunt them and train them to hunt them again to help bring down the wild boar population.
Well, the Danes are fast and they're pretty agile. We watched our Dane grab a medium-sized possum.
Oh yeah.
And he went right in the possum. He goes right in for the back of the neck. They don't even have a chance, which
no.
Yeah, so usually they're very, very docile because they haven't been bred to hunt for a long time. But if they are trained to hunt, they have quite a powerful
reflex
head and very fast, and they're very good about getting their bodies out of the way of danger.
Yeah, so it was about the time I found your channel, sorry, shortly after Jello had to have his surgery. Yeah, he did have his surgery, and his neck was all shaved, and he had staples all the way down. Yeah, so, and he was recovering so well from that, so it was sad that he ended up with
he was about 95% back.
Yeah.
He was even starting to run and jump around a little bit, which we were trying to restrict from causing any additional damage. But
yeah,
he was doing pretty good. So
yeah.
So that was last October, middle of October.
Yeah, that when he passed. He did a surgery in the winter before.
Yeah.
So that was actually right at the beginning. You started watching us because that was one of my first videos because I actually did
early on, yeah.
Jello's story video.
Because our Saint Bernard was never. We had lost Saint Bernard during the end of the summer before.
Yeah, before we started doing videos.
So yeah.
But Jello story video, it was old enough where I didn't know to turn my cell phone sideways to record things. I had my cell phone vertically.
Oh, really? Oh, geez.
But it was still a good enough video. I kept it. But because he was talking to us, I caught him talking, so I put subtitles below. Anyway, I'm just trying to see if I missed anything else left.
Well, Jello made it in the part-time Permies logo.
He did. So we now have a Dane again, but the Dane,
I guess the logo's still good.
And our logo
is really the blue black Jello.
Yeah, it was really supposed to be Jello. So we now have a Dane again with natural ears. So we love the natural ear Danes. We don't really like the cropped ears.
Which is a hunting thing to keep them from getting torn.
Yeah.
Or grabbed by an animal. It's not really functional.
Yeah.
If they're not hunting, so you have a choice. Show tend to clip them and.
Yeah.
They carve them out so they're tall and pointy, but.
Yeah, but the
Well, I guess you can show either way. They just have a preference.
Now you can show either way.
Towards them trimmed.
But yeah, there's some politics behind that a little bit. But
it's an unnecessary, unless they're being used for specific work.
It's an unnecessary surgery.
Yeah.
I mean, really is what it is. But on the other hand, they do with the floppy ears. They do get ear infections more often, so you do have to clean out the ears and all that. But that's any floppy eared dogs.
We saw the goats with no ears yesterday.
Yeah, that was cool. I don't know. I don't remember what kind they are.
The American whatever breed.
It was the only breed that was native. That was
They have this little nubbies
developed
like their ears were cut off, but they're not cut off.
that were developed in the U.S. I think is what it said on the informational sheet. So I did learn something. I just forgot the name of the breed.
So there was a little information on a few of the
Yes, there was.
on a few of the.
And they had many horses at the state.
They didn't have any working horses, any of the large draft horses, but they did have some minis.
They had minis, and they had mini carts to go with the mini
Our
horses.
local fair has some pretty good size, and
yeah.
they do a lot of show, not only the show, but they do the working in the cart maneuvers, and with the kids handling them with and without carts, and then they do adult multi team. And when I worked on Mackinac Island, of course, that is there's thousands of horses up there in the summer, and all the taxis and all the transport is still done with drays and draft animals. So it's still very real up there.
Yes. Yeah, La Mancha goats. Yeah, they have the elf ears. Yep. So we saw a couple of those at the fair. So yeah. You say we still don't have a farm. We do kind of. We have farm animals. We have poultry anyway.
Wow. Backyard poultry.
Yep. And a lot
Cindy
of
says we have a barn, but it's really a storage. It's a large storage shed.
It's really a workshop.
Yeah, it's a workshop storage shed.
Yeah.
What is it, about 16 by 20 or something? So we call it a barn because it's red and white and painted more or less like a barn. But it's.
And sometimes I end up calling it a pole barn, but technically it's not a pole barn.
It is.
It's wood. I thought pole barns are usually metal side.
No, you have wood or metal. It's a pole. Okay. It's a pole structure. It's with clapboard on it, and no, it's a pole barn.
Okay. Anyway. So anyway, I think we've gone through everything that we have for tonight, and congratulations to Noah's Ark. And you will definitely be seeing a lot more of this girl to come in videos, because we'll do training videos and how to get. The first one is actually how to win over your dog if she's very shy. Lots of treats. You saw me doing it right here, actually. I will have treats with me, and a few times a day, we just get her comfortable coming over, getting treats from us. I was actually outside working on getting her, holding the treat and getting her to come over so I could pet her while I was holding the treat, and she had her mouth on the treat. So just to get her comfortable.
She's pretty food driven, which is good, and she hasn't been given a lot of human food because my sister doesn't really cook much, so she was hesitant on some mini milk bones. So we went right to the mini pieces of hot dog, which is a high desirable for training. But we had her the first night. We had her locked in our room, which is a fairly large room, on purpose, and she wasn't real comfortable. No. And when she got out in the early morning, let her out, she would not go in the following nights. But now that my sister's gone and there's no other animals other than the cat, she'll eventually get lonely, and I think she will make her way. We have big dog beds and things in there. We think she will make her way in there fairly easily and want to be around. So we're just not going to restrict her so she doesn't want to go in.
Yeah, we're not going to trap her in there. I think part of her is feeling somewhat trapped. She doesn't want me to put the leash on her, even though she loves going for a walk, because I think she kind of still expects her mom to come here.
Oh, I think so.
So we got to work into that. But or maybe that I was going to take her somewhere. Who knows?
Yeah, and she's been mostly with, even though my sister travels a reasonable amount at times, or she's not around. So that's fine, but she's always with 4 or 5, 6 other dogs. Whatever. There's a whole bunch of dogs.
So this is going to be quiet.
So that's the thing. She's looking, and she follows the other dogs. So she's looking for cues of where the other dogs are.
Yeah.
Which means we just need to transfer that attachment
to us.
Over to us, which shouldn't be too hard if we do it.
Or the cat.
If we do it halfway properly. And then she hasn't chased the cat, so that was one.
Not interested in the cat at all.
Or particularly the chickens.
Actually, she made a wide circle around the cat to get into the house.
Cat moved closer to her. The cat's interested because the cat likes the dogs.
Yeah, the cat was best buddies with Jello and Boomer. So I think the cat's going to initiate the friendship here. But our cat Helix has been watching her quite closely, and when she's been laying down and sleeping, I think he's working his way closer and closer to her. So yeah, Lois Ann, it is starting to get late,
Yeah, we're
but
getting
it's not quite
approaching
10
10.
o'clock.
But if anybody has any other topics or discussions
Well,
or
Noah's Ark makes treats. If you have
okay.
treat recipes, that'd be
We have,
interesting.
yeah, we have
We've
one
done
person
some
at the
farmers
farmers
market.
market, one or two that make dog treats.
Yeah.
Interesting. Some farmers markets can sell dog treats, some cannot,
Yes.
and some sort of depending on the
Interpretation.
licensing, some do not want non-human consumption food. And then we heard
And
in Georgia they pass off animal foods such as raw milk as an animal food to get it out there, and people are
yeah,
buying it for their
for
animals
them,
and things,
for themselves.
which I've never
Yeah.
seen that done here.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the only way you could get raw milk here is by having a share, and there are people who do cow shares.
But we do have, yeah, we do have a dog treat
Yeah.
maker.
Yeah, so yeah, and actually we have some dog treats from them which she likes. And right now when she came up in between us here, those were the mini milk bones. So we might put some of those actually in the floor on the floor on the way back to our bedroom, kind of leading her back there because she's nervous about
Yeah,
going
we
back
were
there.
thinking we may scatter some of those items possibly back there on the floor and just let her find them and then settle down. We have these massive round dog beds for our previous massive dogs that we had cleaned and put downstairs, and so we have those. Although she's pretty good, she laid on the tile, which our Dane would never lay on the tile, our other one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, to live is to suffer. You have said you had a German short-haired pointer slash boxer mix, and he seems to react better when you kneel down or get to his level. Yeah, absolutely. And the other things I learned from our aggressive reactive dog that we had before was if you do things like if you're down, sitting down, relaxed, you're not as threatening. Standing over them is definitely threatening. Turning to the side so you're not looking directly at them is helpful. Yawning, because they will yawn as a signal to each other sometimes.
turn
That
their head and yawn. Yeah.
turn their head and yawn as a signal to each other to say that they're not a threat, not trying to threaten
Yeah,
each
it's either
other.
everything's okay and they're low stress, or it's passivity that they're, yeah. I
Yeah,
think it's
so
more just low stress than it's okay.
that it's okay, and then they kind of that's a signal to the other dog that they're relaxing. So there's a lot of different things along those lines. And actually, the video I have with the training, I was sitting down in a chair just trying to get her to come up to
Because
me
our
and
other
not me go
dogs
to
that had
her.
aggression issues, we, yeah, if they came to us and they sniffed around when they were comfortable, they were fine.
Yeah,
If you approached them too aggressive and they weren't settled, is when they would get upset.
yeah.
So prickly pear, Christian, yeah, prickly pear jelly is good. I like to just peel it and eat it raw, like fruit salad or
Oh yeah, we didn't do.
such. I mean, you can. I think if they're a little underripe, but these sound ripe, you can always pickle anything, doing a
Yeah,
sweet and sour type thing or herbs. Um, I've seen it pureed up and put into like lemonade and used to flavor, and I've seen sorbets, prickly pear
oh, that would be
sorbet,
good.
like chilled using it, but all flavored drinks. I could see putting some rounds in an iced tea,
Yeah.
being able to suck on them. Of course, they have the little seeds in them, but they don't bother me. They're as
Yeah,
long as you cut the
the
cut the
outside
edges
out.
off. Other than that, I don't know. You might be able to put sugar on them and brulee them with a torch and put them into like over custard or something.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Use them after the custard's made and use them as a garnishable.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, you know what? And I completely forgot about that. Throwing out a culinary question once a week. I forgot about this week. Maybe I should put a Facebook
well, we
post.
talked about finishing off the nocino.
Yeah, we did. But I mean, as far as getting a question from them. Um, but the other thing I was thinking actually is maybe we can. Would you like it if? By the way, do all of you guys follow us on our Facebook page or group? Either one. Because maybe what I can do is, I think it'd work on the group and not the page, but put up a post earlier on Sundays, kind of like the Prats do. Whatever you want to post there for us to bring up, we can do that. But it could also be just questions, cooking questions that you have for Mike, gardening questions, dog training questions on how we handle things here or otherwise, or anything else you'd want to post if you have your own videos or whatever that you want us to kind of feature what you guys are doing, that would be great too. But yeah, maybe it's worth putting up a call for. It's a private group, so yeah, I'm pretty sure I set it to private. Um, so everything is private that you list in there otherwise. But if I do put that question, it'll only be things in comments on that question or on that post that we would pull up onto this live show. But it is on a Sunday, so hopefully not many people will be at work. I think that was the issue with the Prats. They do it on Thursday, so some people didn't want their work to know that they were posting during the day potentially.
That means their bosses aren't doing any work either because they're following all the Facebook instead of doing something constructive.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And most Facebook and Instagram you do is auto link, so you get posted to both pretty much.
Yeah,
same.
my Instagram.
The Instagram is. The Facebook is.
My Instagram posts to Facebook. My YouTube videos, other than the live shows, I automatically post. Well, I don't automatically. I have to post them to Facebook. I can start doing that with the live shows too, if you want. But that would be after the fact. Okay, Valerie follows
you
Facebook
pluck out
and
the
Instagram.
fruits and freeze them. That's interesting. I'm not sure if they break down from freezing and get soggy.
You have to do an experiment.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I mean, because they're very fleshy and the fibery.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'd hold up well. I mean, frozen fruits can always be used for juice or for pureeing and making into sorbets and things like that. Because, but are they going to have enough structure to be tasty? And many times when you freeze fruits, you put them in a percentage of sugar solution. You clear them in sugar, and then you freeze them because that helps with freezer burn and damage, blowing up the cells by it's usually 15% sugar or something. So I don't know that one.
Yeah. And To Live is to Suffer doesn't.
Have you ever made goat's milk caramel? That's really good. That's because it's got more depth of flavor than sweetened condensed milk or cow's milk.
That would.
But goat's milk caramel is really good because it's got that sourness to it, and it just gets really rich. And then I've had caramelized goat's milk almost made into a cheese, or it was dried down so much it almost tasted like caramel, but it was like a goat's milk cheese. It was amazing. I think they had some sugar in that or something too. It was weird, but good.
So To Live is to Suffer doesn't use Facebook. Now, obviously, if you ever have questions about a specific topic, cooking, gardening, growing anything, foraging anything, you can always post them as we're talking, even if it's not on our topic list. So if you ever have any questions for us along those lines, and obviously if I don't know the answer for it, I will tell you I don't know, but I can always try to look it up for the next week's show too. Freezer is stuffed with goat's milk and other stuff given to me. Ooh, yum.
Yeah, kayaka. Yeah.
How do you say that?
Kayaka.
Kayeta? Yeah. Okay. I don't know if I tried that. What is that?
Well, that's when you take the milk and you boil it down like sweetened condensed milk in a can, and you make almost like a dulce de leche.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a Spanish term for it.
Okay.
I think my Spanish Native American friend Gerson, who many years ago informed me of the correct terms as we were playing with it. But I've had it with goat's milk, and it's amazing. It's better than cow's milk.
Cool.
Which you can buy canned also. Problem is you can't just boil the goat's milk. Well, you can, but you got to do it a really long time, because there is an extra sugar added to the canned goat's milk. So you do have some sugar in the milk, but you need it for a period of time to really get to convert. And then you still may want to add some sugar to it or caramel. But yeah.
Cool. So that's
sort of like butterscotch, which basically has milk proteins and caramelized sugar.
And pour it over ice cream or over a cake or lots of goodness with that. Spanish word, yes. And yes, they're mushy when thawed, but you can use them for juice.
That would be my assumption, that they would hold, but not as a fresh fruit alternative. Yeah. Not like freezing.
That wasn't a question that he was saying. Oh. Finite World was saying earlier. It was a statement.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's exactly my opinion of a fruit like that. But they still have within. It's like blueberries and other things. They have, well, blueberries hold up pretty well, but they have quite a few uses, just not every use when frozen.
Yeah, like peach or something.
Peaches hold up really well.
Do they?
Oh
Okay.
yeah, frozen peaches.
Anyway,
Peaches hold up extremely well.
Shows how often I cook.
I queue off frozen peaches. Buy them at the store too.
True.
We're in the middle of peach season right now. We have excellent nectarines and peaches. Blueberry season is ending very early this year. We're within about a week or so of blueberries are done, effectively. But stone fruits are doing great.
The J is silent, not sounding like a Y. That might just be.
Yeah, it's a Y.
Okay.
Y
Well,
mashed in there between all of it, right?
She says the J is silent. I thought it sounded like a Y.
I guess it's mashed, yeah.
But of course, all our neighbors were Ecuadorian in New York, so there's so many different.
I think they had a different name.
They did,
I
think.
believe.
So there's so many different pronunciations across different Spanish-speaking countries. It's crazy, but I guess English is that way too. Because I don't usually try to wear jumpers like the British do. Anyway, I'm trying to see if we missed anything else. I think we got it all. So I think it's actually probably bedtime. And well, actually, we'll probably do a quick video record a quick video before bed. Possibly. If we want a second Notino video, and then the third one will be the tasting. So we can have a playlist
at an
of
undetermined moment. Well, we could do a quick tasting now. It's going to taste terrible because it's gone from a.
Well, do you want to get someone tasted live?
No, it's going to be bad.
It's going to be bad.
I'll show you. It's going to be because it's an infusion right now.
Yeah.
And then it becomes an aperitif, or will really become
chatting away. I don't know if you could hear that anymore. But he's getting the jar from the kitchen. It
becomes a digestif once once you add the sugar. And so this was the
original one, the one we videoed.
Fifth or so of neutral grain spirits vodka with some lemon peel, orange peel, cinnamon, clove. You have anything else in here? I think I wrote it down.
Yeah.
Just the basics.
Oh, we have the video.
We've turned it a couple of times. Yep. This one was this is half of, because I couldn't quite get it all in there with the walnuts. I think I can put the two together once I strain them. I don't know with the sugar syrup. This was just, we're playing around with the inexpensive brand of Irish whiskey called Paddy's, which is kind of caramely.
Yep.
And we thought maybe those flavors would meld nicely. And so we wanted to see what a neutral versus a flavored item, just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
And we had lots of extra walnuts, and we didn't have any more vodka laying around because we don't drink the vodka. We bought this monster bottle, and we used it a year ago for elderberry blossoms, and it's the other half of it's been sitting down there for the whole year waiting to infuse something else. So
So that's it for tonight, and we will get some of these videos up this week, so we might have 2 or 3 come up as long as I have time to edit. This one might be a quick one, so I think that'll be good. Our training one should be a quick one, and we might get 3 done this week. So
you might.
I might.
I got a busy week. I won't be.
He doesn't edit
any of them.
He would have to learn the software program to edit.
I've got a pretty busy week.
Yeah.
And then I'm on potential jury duty the following week for 2 weeks. I'm on call for jury duty.
That's hard with a new business.
Well, we're gonna see what is taking place on orders and what their needs are, and if their needs become excessive, then I will obviously
try to get by.
I will obviously opt out because it's a severe hardship since I'm a one-man business. So, but if it's a day or two for a trial that's going to take 1 day or 2 days, there's a reasonable chance that I can make time to do that.
Yeah. So anyway, we will say good night, and we will record a quick video and set up some dog biscuits on the way to the bedroom, like Noah's Ark said. And we will see you guys next week with hopefully a few more videos out in between. So I will say good night for now, and we will see you next time. Take care, you guys.
Good night.